Miami's football roster is deeper than it's been in a long time. And something you're going to appreciate about these players is they are embracing that competition.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I am Alex Donno. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and writer for allhurricanes.com. Happy Friday. We made it. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. We are available free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So yes, there is depth, there is competition, and thankfully, the attitude of Miami's players, whether they're stars or guys who are fighting for a spot, they are embracing that competition. On this episode, we're going to talk to two current Miami Hurricanes football players. We're going to talk with defensive back Jadais Richard, who was described to me by his teammate Daryl Porter as someone who's about to break out. And we're going to talk to Miami's starting right tackle, CeCe Mauigoa. We're going to talk about team goals. We're going to talk offseason. We're going to talk about that grind right here on Locked On Canes. So thrilled to be joined by a very important member of the Miami Hurricanes offensive line. He's heading into his second year. They call him CeCe. Francis Mauigoa is with us. CeCe, how you been, sir? How are you?
I've been great. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing well. And I know you were recovering from something during spring ball. We didn't see you. How are you feeling now physically?
I'm feeling 90% right now. I just need to get back to my strength. And I'll be back in the season. Yeah, I can play my first game. I can play in the first game, and we'll continue on from there.
Awesome. Like, what have you been able to do? You mentioned getting some of your strength back. Like, what have you been able to do? Have you been able to lift? Have you been able to do any conditioning?
Oh yeah, I'm doing lifting right now with the group. But I just can't do any contact because of my shoulders. And but yeah, everything is in motion, and hopefully get in contact in about 2-3 weeks from now.
You had a really good true freshman season last year as Miami's starting right tackle for the entire year, CeCe. So you were thrown right into it. What was that like, making that step up? And you played, of course, in a very prominent high school program at IMG Academy. But what was that step up from high school to playing Power 5 football like for you last year?
It was all about preparation. Talking about IMG, they prepared me for this moment. I mean, to come in and start right away. They have, poured into me and teach me all the things I need to learn in order to come in and step up and do what I need to do to get on the field.
And getting back on that field this coming season, how much do you feel like you learned from last year? And do you feel like you're going to be an even better version of yourself coming up as a sophomore?
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot from the last season, especially watching all the game films and all the practices we did. But I've learned a lot, talking about from pass rush to foot fire to moving your feet, staying low, and, obviously run block and everything. So, yeah, I'm ready to get back to it and elevate my game.
You're so physical on the field, and that seems like a prerequisite to play on an Alex Mirabal and Mario Cristobal offensive line. Like you really enjoy getting downfield and putting guys on their butts. Is that your favorite part of what you do out there?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I told him I like pulling. You just need to put me out there and just let me go up to the second level and do what I do. I mean, I'm athletic. I feel like I'm athletic enough to compete with the linebackers and like on the second level and all that stuff. So yeah, they've poured into me and gave me the chance to get upfield and show them what I got.
Offensive line stability was a big thing for Miami last year with the same starting five for all 12 regular season games. There's going to be a couple new faces on the line. I know we're still, figuring out left guard, but at center, Miami's got a new player in Zach Carpenter who transferred over from Indiana. What have been your impressions on Carpenter so far?
He's a good kid. He's very vocal in the meeting. He's very vocal out there on the field as well. So I feel like he's going to be a next step. He's going to be a good center and a good leader for us. Especially he's going to be the one making all the calls. But yeah, I feel very confident in this kid.
For that other spot, I was watching spring ball and I really saw some good stuff from guys like Matthew McCoy and Samson Okunlola and Lou Cristobal and Tommy Kinsler. How are these guys developing? And you think one or more of these guys are going to be able to really step up and potentially step into a starting job?
So yeah, talking about Samson and Matt McCoy, they have worked their butt off to get in the starting spot. Talk about Samson. I work with Samson every day. We talk about like what we feel comfortable in and what we not and what we need to work on. And we just share, information. That's like really my work buddy. Like like even today, like we just came off the workout and we just, worked on ourselves, try to see like what does 3-point stance feel like to you? What does 3-point stance feel like to me? And what can we do to elevate our game in a 3-point stance and a 2-point stance? And how does that affect our pass rush to the run block to them knowing if it's a run or pass? So I've been working with Samson a lot, and I feel like he's going to be a good attribute to this offensive lineman next year.
Yeah, and it's cool. You guys, I'm sure, have a special bond, having come in together in the same recruiting class, and you guys were the two highest rated recruits who came in together. So I'm glad to hear that you guys still have that working relationship on and off the field ever since.
Yeah, everyone thinks that we're rivals or something. I keep hearing stuff about that. I'm like, no, this guy's the real truth. He's a real good guy. He works hard a lot, and he pushes me to be the best I can be.
People make assumptions like that about, these guys, they play, I mean, not the exact same position, but they're both offensive linemen. Maybe they're rivals. Like another thing, I was watching this interview with Mark Fletcher the other night, and he talked about Damien Martinez coming in.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people just like assumed, they're bringing in a guy at his position, he's going to be upset. And he revealed, like, he texted Martinez before he visited, like, we need you here. And, he talked about that 1-2 punch. And I know, have you had a chance to interact with Martinez yet? I mean, he just, I don't know if he's on campus yet or what his situation is, but what do you know about Martinez so far?
I've been watching the dude's film. He's a really good running back. He can run someone over. And I feel like that's my type of running back. Having Katron Allen at IMG, he like set the tone for our offense. I feel like having him back there, like running people over, I feel like that will set the tone for practices and that can elevate our game. I texted Damien Martinez right when he committed. I texted him. I told him, we're going to run the ball hella time. And he was like laughing and all. I was like, yeah, we're going to get fit now.
Yeah, and I know that's a big part of it, is being able to be physical and pound the rock. And then, of course, Miami also has a new quarterback, and this is someone who has been around since January. I'm sure you've had plenty of interactions with Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Has he exceeded your expectations? Because that's the way that I feel, CeCe. At the time, like I knew Ward. I watched him a little bit at Washington State. I knew this is a talented guy, but then actually being able to cover him, during spring in Miami, I was more impressed with him than I thought I was going to be.
Yeah, he's more of a leader. He's very talkative. He's very vocal. He's very interactive with our players in the locker room. He's a very funny dude. So he makes us laugh. He makes us, he makes us comfortable with him. He set the tone for us. I mean, in practice, I just see him like after he makes like a long pass, he go up to a D line and start like looking at him and try to be a big boy, So it really makes us want to work hard for him. This dude is really the deal. I ain't gonna lie. This dude is very, very good. I feel like he's gonna be one of the reasons why we can make it to the championship game.
On the other side of the football, of course, once fall camp rolls around, you're going to be going up against Miami's defense, and they made some additions on the defensive line as well, with Tyler Barron coming in,
Oh
Simeon
yeah.
Barrow coming in. Of course, your brother is a star linebacker, Kiko. What are your expectations for Miami's defense heading into this year?
We have a lot of D lines now, so my expectation for the D line is that we got to get a sack every game, every play.
Yes.
So that's what I need from these D lines. I mean, they have a lot of talents, star athletes on that defensive line. So I mean, my expectation for them is high. The defense, oh my gracious, if we don't give any other teams a score, oh my gracious, this defense is really, really good.
We're going to continue here with CeCe Mauigoa. We're going to talk about practice intensity levels when we come back, and we're going to talk with Jadais Richard, Miami Hurricanes cornerback, a little bit later on. You know what you want to do? You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. And I'm only getting started with FanDuel. Guys, winning some money on these Florida Panthers money lines. If you're looking at Miami over under 9.5 wins, or Miami plus 450 to win the ACC, you can find all of this and more at FanDuel. And yes, it's winner take all time right now in the NBA and NHL. And FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. I love being part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And folks, Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. And now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV in the free Fire TV Channels app. My father's been watching Locked On from Italy. So if you have an internet connection, that's all you need. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV Channels app as we continue our conversation with CeCe Mauigoa. I remember CeCe going back to the 90s, into the early 2000s. I would hear these stories from Greentree where Miami's offense, like in practice, like they couldn't score against the defense, and then they'd go out there on Saturdays and they'd score 40, 50 points against an opponent, but they couldn't score against the defense. Like those are the types of battles that I've been watching even the past couple of years since you come in and since your brother came over. It looks like the practices are getting more competitive each time out there. I'm sure. Do you guys have some of the former players telling you, hey, this is what it used to be like at Greentree? We would, kill each other 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh yeah. Me and Cisco, we always talk about the culture of University of Miami, especially in the Greentree. I mean, we try ourselves to better each other. So we keep talking even when last year's practices. He always talked to me on the gate in the practice, talk about what's the play, and I keep telling him, I don't know, just what's your guys running. So it really makes it fun, and it makes it a lot more enjoyable. I feel like football is a fun sport, but once you make it feel like it's a work, it's like a heavy load on you, I feel like you're gonna take out that fun. So if you just play the sport and play it to the best of your ability, have some fun, you're going to succeed in a better level.
I love to hear that. We're here with CeCe Mauigoa, Miami Hurricanes starting right tackle, joins us. Canes Connection athlete, by the way. We're going to get to all the great things that Canes Connection has been doing. But as far as this season coming up, what are the team goals? What do you guys talk about as wanting to accomplish on the field this year?
We always talk about the mindset. We always set our team goal, long-term team goal. Our long-term team goal is no less than making it to the national championship game. But as far as offense go, we need to elevate our game from last year. I mean, we was ranked in the turnovers and stuff. We need to get rid of those. We need to get rid of those hands on the ball, protect the ball with But as far as our offense, we need to elevate our game from last year. I feel like we got that down this year, so we just gotta keep going and keep striving for the best.
Is it too early to start thinking about August 31st against Florida? Are you at all allowing yourself mentally to think about that, or just too many hurdles to clear before then?
There's always that, there's always that 1% up in your mind that always want to think about that Florida game. But, you always try to take it one day at a time. You always think about the workouts first. And you can't really attack the workouts if your mind is on that side. I mean, so, we keep watching film from now on, and we just keep elevating our game physically and mentally. Not only in workouts and also in conditioning now that we're in summer workouts. So, yeah.
Something I certainly do not worry about heading into next season is Miami's offensive line, and you play right next to another beast, Inez Cooper. We talk about physicality. Big Coop, he is something else. What's it like playing next to him?
Oh, Coop is a real deal. I mean, talk about this guy. He's very, very athletic. He's very fit. Like, this guy will try to pump practice up. This guy is very, very good at what he does. Playing next to him, I mean, I was thankful that I have him on my side. I mean, if I was playing against him, I don't know what our D-line can do against him. This guy come up with every move, and he was like speaks on it, and we keep like talking back and forth about what should we do on this and that and this and that, like what if they're stunt, what should we do? So he's a very good communicator, and he's very good at listening as well. So I feel blessed to have this guy on our team.
Yeah, CeCe, I always tell people how Miami fans, how blessed they are to have a collective like Canes Connection, which I think is one of the very best in the country. And of course, you are one of their athlete members. What does it mean to you to be a part of Canes Connection?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, Canes Connection, it brings everyone together. It connects athletes with the fans and everyone. So it really binds us together. As far as athletes, we just work, and we give back to the community, and we want to, have some interact with the fans and whatnot. And so, yeah, it just means togetherness, bondness with the fans and stuff, with the community.
I love it. You do a great job with that. What's your off-season workout schedule like? Because I think fans they should be fascinated to hear it, because if anyone thinks that off-season is a thing, you guys are never really in an off-season, right?
It's really no off-season. I mean, off-season is just a word, but it's really every day we treat it as game one. We treat every day as 1-0. That's our team goal, is 1-0 every day. So every day we gotta attack each day. So what we have right now is we have, lifting from Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, and then conditioning on Tuesdays and Thursdays. As an O-line group, we have some extra stuff on the side that we do on our own. We either go to the beach and do some workouts on the weekends, or we just go out and fishing, or just relax and recovery in the pool. It's just whatever we can to like build that bondness, and if the O-line has that chemistry, we can dominate anyone. So yeah, it's really
like
that.
the O-line, it really needs to be 5 people acting as one. Like I think
Yeah.
more than any other unit on the field, you guys have to be in constant sync.
I feel, like Javion Cohen said not too long ago, this O-line is really, this Coach Mirabal really teaches, like, is a brotherhood. Like, it's nothing else. Like, if we don't have that connection, I don't think we can communicate better. I don't think we can communicate good. So we got to have that little, chemistry on the side. I feel like the O-line is really the one controlling the offense. I feel like should be the one setting the standard for the offense. Because if there's no O-line to pass, the quarterback can't throw the ball to the receivers. If there's no O-line, the running back can't get through the hole and do whatever. So it's really start with the O-line, and that's what we try to work on. And try to create that bond so we can communicate and play to the best of our ability.
Well, you're doing a tremendous job on and off the field, and it's appreciated. It really is. CeCe, Francis Mauigoa, thank you so much for taking the time, and enjoy the rest of your quote-unquote off-season.
Thank you, Alex.
We appreciate Mr. Mauigoa taking the time. When we come back, we're going to talk with Miami Hurricanes cornerback Jadais Richard about that defense, about his new cornerbacks coach, Chevis Jackson, and all of his team goals heading into the season coming up. You want to keep it locked right here. We're not done yet on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Folks, there's a reason why GameTime is the only ticket app that I use. They are changing the game. If you're into the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, folks, you get last-minute killer deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Folks, these flash deals are incredible. You save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. And yes, at GameTime, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. I've been going to Florida Panthers playoff games courtesy of GameTime. The all-in pricing is fantastic. You see exactly what you're going to pay right up front. They don't tack on hidden fees at the end. The views from your seat, you're going to see a panoramic view of exactly what you're going to be looking at from your seats before you buy. It only takes a couple taps and a few seconds to buy tickets on GameTime. So, folks, take the guesswork out of buying NBA and Stanley Cup playoff tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Happy to be joined here by Canes Connection athlete Jadais Richard, Miami cornerback, who had a really good spring as we head into this 2024 season. Jadais, thank you so much for taking some time. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Now, going back to, it was right before spring football started. I was at an event, and I asked Daryl Porter, your teammate, Daryl Porter Jr., who he thought was set to break out this year. And first name that came out of his mouth was yours, Jadais Richard. And this was before spring football even started. He was talking about the work that you did throughout the offseason workout, strength and conditioning. He was really high on what you were doing. And then, of course, I got a chance to watch you in the defensive backfield in spring practices, and I'm really impressed. Talk a little bit about the spring you just had and what you feel like you're improving on.
Well, I felt like I had a pretty decent spring. You know, I could have did a little things better, but the majority of the things I did pretty good. I got better at a lot of things, you know, as far as, you know, my kick step, but I can press off coverage, you know. My press is definitely have got better, you know, with Coach Jackson coming in and he teaching us a new technique, you know, that I feel like that technique is my technique. Like that technique improved my game a lot throughout the spring.
And it looked like there were some really good battles and practices between you guys in the defensive backfield and Miami's receivers. And that's a really good group of receivers that Miami has coming back. I mean, Miami's the only team in the ACC with 3 receivers who return at least 800 receiving yards from last year. Talk to me about some of the battles you had and who are some of the receivers that were always the most fun to go up against?
Well, you know, Jacolby George for sure. Him, Isaiah Horton, you know, even the new guys coming in, JoJo Trader, Nakar, you know, just them, those the guys that, you know, I had to go against daily in spring. And, you know, I just see like I like the competition, especially with me and Jacolby George. You know, we go back, we was going at it every day, you know. I'll win some, he'll win some, you know, and I just feel like the competition things with them practice, you know, I feel like that, like, is what separates, that's what will separate us from everybody else, you know, because we're going against, like, the top receivers every day in practice, and, you know, so it's like, when it come game time, you know, it's like I'm gonna be used to it because I done already seen it every day, you know, and with Isaiah Horton, you know, he's kind of a new guy coming in. Well, like he improved to make himself, you know, on the map, you know, and I feel like he's going to have a great season this year. He done got way better, like from his releases to, his speed to how he run his routes, come out of his routes. So, I just feel like just going against that competition every day is going to do nothing but make us better.
Talk to me about Miami's defensive backfield, because there are some questions to answer there. Obviously, losing some important starters from last season, including both the safeties going on to the NFL, Jaden Davis to Corey Couch. So talk to me a little bit about that unit and how you guys feel like you're going to perform this year as a collective.
Well, I feel like losing them, we done brought in a couple key pieces. We got Mish Powell to replace the safeties, and he's coming in, and he's like filling those shoes to me. He's a great communicator in the back end, and Mish, he did it, like he played in Washington, so like they made it far last year, so he's like an experienced guy, so just playing behind him, it's like just having him as my safety, it's a good feeling, because like with him coming in, he done brought us all together. So, it's like I trust him, because like off the field, like he done came in and like built a relationship with me and all the other guys. And I just feel real strongly about our defensive back end this year, with me, Damari Brown, Daryl Porter, Mish, Jay Harris, Markeith Williams. We got a lot of key pieces in that back end for sure.
And I think Miami's defense is going to be really good this year, because I look at not only the back end, but the front seven. Front seven looks ridiculous, man. I mean, talk to me about those trenches, because Miami already had a lot of edge rushers, and then Tyler Barron comes in. Simeon Barrow comes in at defensive tackle. I mean, I think this defense is really going to turn a lot of heads.
Yeah, man. I was excited to see the new additions we got. Coach Chris Ball said he was going to find us some new D linemen, but I didn't think, he was going to go out there and really hunt like that. We didn't with the new pieces we got in now. It'll make it a lot easier for the back end for sure. We don't have to cover for that long. Pressure the quarterback, allow us to make plays on the ball. So I'm ready. I'm ready for the season, and I'm ready to show the world, what the 2024 Miami Hurricanes got to bring to the table.
So, on that note, what are the team goals for 2024?
Well, get our culture back right. We trying to win the ACC championship. We trying to win a natty. Those are our team goals. We're trying to make it all the way to the top.
No, I love to hear it. Now, you talked about going up against Jacolby George and Miami's receivers in practice, but what about Cam Ward? Him out there spinning it. What's Ward been like?
I say Cam, man, he makes it hard for the DBs for sure, because even, I say all the trenches, but, in practice, you can't touch Cam Ward. So,
right.
he forced it for the defense to, like, actually cover. Like, in practice, he scrambles and you have to plaster, you have to cover for, 6, 7, 8 seconds. And, that makes it hard on defenses, because can't nobody cover for that long, So, yeah, that's Cam, man. He was a great addition to our team.
Yeah, and there's other members who weren't around for spring ball, but Miami also on that offense. Another receiver you may end up seeing a lot in practices coming up, and Sam Brown coming in, Damien Martinez coming in and running back. I mean, not only do I think Miami's defense is going to be really good, I know the offense is going to be good too.
Oh yeah, for sure. We already had a lot of good backs. With Mark Fletcher, AJ Allen, Chris Johnson. Adding Damien Martinez. That we complete. It's like a complete team, And with Sam Brown too, I was watching his tape the other day, and he's a good player, with the ball in his hands, like he can, after the catch, he can make people miss, he's fast, he's shifty. So, I just feel like that's gonna, like, with him coming in and the other 3 key pieces we have, like receiver wise, man, it's going to be hard to stop our offense in my eyes.
Jadais, is it too early to start thinking a little bit about that season opener against Florida? Are there too many hurdles to clear before that, or does even like 1% of your brain think about that a little bit?
Nah, not really. I mean, right now we're just focusing on the off-season grind. When August 31st come, that's when it come. We ready for him. We ready for him. But right now we're just focusing on us and the team culture.
Talk to me a little bit more about Chevis Jackson. You mentioned him off the top, but what's your new cornerbacks coach been like for you guys?
I love Coach Jackson. He just came in maybe like a couple months ago, and it feel like he's been here for like a year and a half already. He's came in and he's welcoming. We welcome him in, and he didn't like taught us a lot of new things. A lot of different techniques, off techniques, press techniques. So, I feel like he's a great coach. He's a great mentor, and he also played in the league too, so just learning from him it's a great experience too.
Do you think you talk about it felt like he'd been here for a longer time? The fact that he's worked with Lance Guidry before, that probably eased that chemistry, right?
Yeah, it did, because it was just like he was like the missing puzzle to the piece. He was like the missing piece to the puzzle. Just bringing him and Guidry together is like just seeing them work together. It's just like clockwork, like, oh, if Guidry don't see this, Coach Jackson see it. If Coach Jackson don't see it, Guidry see this. So, I think that just came with like their relationship, just the bond that they had at Marshall, and they just bring it all back to the U, so.
By the way, what's your height and weight now, and have you gained anything with these off-season programs?
I'm about 6'1.5", and yeah, I done got up to about 205. I still consider that a little too heavy, for me playing corner. Yeah, so I want to play at around about 200 pounds. That'll be solid for me.
Well, there you go. I appreciate that. And listen, I tell people all the time, Miami fans are so lucky, and Miami athletes as well, for Canes Connection, because it really is one of the most well-run collectives in the entire nation. What does it mean to you to be a part of it?
It means everything. It means everything to be a part of the Canes Connection. Just represent Miami and Canes Connection.
Love it. Jadais Richard, he's ready for the season coming up. I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and best of luck. I'm really excited to see what happens this coming season.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Huge thank you to Jadais Richard and CeCe Mauigoa for joining us. We're going to have a conversation tomorrow with Miami Hurricanes offensive lineman Ryan Rodriguez, so make sure you tune into that as well. And making this all possible, the Canes Connection Collective. We are so thrilled here on Locked On Canes to be able to partner with Canes Connection to get these awesome interviews with these top Miami Hurricanes athletes. I'm going to keep it real with you. Everyone who's a part of this podcast, including you, wants to elevate the Miami Hurricanes back to prominence. And trust me, we're heading in the right direction. But the dawn of the NIL era has changed the landscape of college athletics, where NIL opportunities matter now more than ever. Strong NIL support doesn't guarantee championships, but a lack of NIL support guarantees that you won't even be in the championship conversation. That's where Canes Connection comes into play. Canes Connection isn't just any collective. It's among the nation's elite, well-run, organized, and effective. If you don't believe me, check out the recruiting rankings for football and basketball from last year. Look at the quality of transfers that have made their way to Coral Gables. You can visually see the difference that they are making. So you can head over to canesconnection.com, check out their membership page, choose your monthly plan. They range from $25 to $1,000 a month. Any support helps them. And during checkout, folks, make sure you use my code LOCKED. Use my code LOCKED, LOCKED, in the add a promo code field to snag 20% off your first month. Use my code LOCKED for 20% off your first month on any membership level. We're not done yet today, by the way, my friends. We're going to have, we're trying something new with Bruce Warner. He's not going to be the truth teller today. He's going to be my debate partner. We're going to have a lightning round Friday happy hour episode of Locked On Canes coming up later today. So you want to keep it locked right here on Locked On Canes. We are part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.